So who are they? This year, there are 67 summer interns. They're working across the state in all different departments and divisions. They come from 18 different universities, and there is a good mix of returners, so people that were an intern last year, and people who this is their first experience with TDOT ever. So that's quite a large group. It's almost double from last year, so that is exciting. They all have some things in common. Most of them have completed, or actually all of them have completed 2 years of college. So most of them are rising juniors or seniors. We do have a few that are graduate students or doctoral students, but for the most part, they're going to be about 21 to 24 years old, which means that some of them weren't even alive when the first Toy Story movie came out. It's crazy to me. And most of them don't know how to do the Macarena or even know what that is. So just some things to keep in mind. You know, that kind of is the generation they're coming from is definitely categorized as millennial. And with that, they have a little bit different expectations than others. Mainly, they really want you to make them feel welcome, as do we. It's important to make sure they have the most enjoyable experience possible this summer. So to do that, it's important to schedule regular check-ins. Just set up a time weekly where you meet with them and kind of go over expectations, how are things going, give them that chance to get feedback from you and to ask questions. It's also critical that we provide meaningful tasks for them. Everyone should have filled out an intern request form way back in November or December, and this is the reasoning behind that. It's really important that we are not just using them to do things that we don't want to do. We want to give them meaningful tasks that help them build the competencies and see if this is a career path that they want to continue after graduation. Having said that, it's really, really important that you don't assume prior knowledge of anything. So don't make assumptions about what they have learned in school or what they have not learned in school. You really have to have conversations with them and make sure that you are, not just throwing them out there and letting them kind of wade the waters and figure it out themselves. Now is not the time to do that. Now is the time to be supportive and to make sure that we thoroughly explain our expectations in the process and what we want them to accomplish so they're successful. And going along with that, we would hope that everyone serves not only as a supervisor but as a mentor for your interns this summer. So all these things kind of roll up into what it means to be a good mentor. Having that regular feedback, providing meaningful tasks, and walking them through how to do things, helping them learn. Here are some things that if you haven't done them already, it's really important to get these done before the interns arrive. So one is we want to have their IT equipment set up. This was the biggest complaint from last year's interns regarding the onboarding process, was that several of them didn't have computer, phone, email access set up on time. So to try to prevent that this year, go ahead, if you haven't already, have them sign and return an acceptable usage policy and submit the ticket to get their IT equipment set up. Going along with that, it's also important to plan out not only their first week, but their whole summer here. You should already have an idea of what you expect them to do, which projects they're going to be working on this summer. It's a good idea to go ahead and write that out before they get here, so then on their first day you can review that. They are not full-time employees, so they won't have anything formal and they won't have a performance document in Edison. But it's still important to create a sort of performance plan for them and to go over that. This next one seems like common sense, but it doesn't hurt. Just a reminder, make sure that you check in with them probably a week before they get here. You can call, email, text, whatever works for you, but make sure that you, their supervisor, is reaching out to them, letting them know where to go, where to park, what they need to bring on their first day, what the dress code is, what time to report to work, because that can be different for all of us, and who to ask for when they get there. Just another thing to note is that similar to last year, we will be sending out an onboarding survey to all of our interns to evaluate how well everyone communicated to them about the details of their first day. So we want to do better than last year, and I'm confident we will, and we'll go ahead and share those results with you once we get them as well. Okay, so we talked about what to do before they get here. Now they're here, it's the first day, we need to make sure these things happen. Just like any other new employee, we're going to follow the new employee processes. Still have to complete an I-9 verification. They still need to read all the policies and sign the policy statement acknowledgement form. Obviously, you want to take them around, introduce them to others in the office, maybe help them connect with other newer employees who might be GTAs or people that they could also connect with as mentors. We talked about before they get here, you should have a plan for them. The day one is the time to kind of review that plan, go over what you expect them to accomplish this summer, but also talk about simple things like how you want them to request time off. Since they are part-time employees, they will not be eligible for paid leave. So it's important that you talk about how you want them to request sick time, vacation time. We do encourage you to allow them to take that, but just understand that they will have to take it in an unpaid status. Also want to go over your communication preferences with them. How would you prefer that they contact you with questions? Do you want them to come speak with you face-to-face, email, phone call, all the above? Just talk about those sorts of preferences for you and for them. And then we want you to ask their input just like you would any other employee. Make sure you have a good understanding of what they want to get out of the internship so we can work towards making that happen. Again, can't say this enough. It's really important to set up time, schedule one-on-one meetings with them, preferably do it every week at the same time and stick to that throughout the summer. Go over any important dates or schedule of events, which we will be sending out a finalized calendar of the intern events before they get here. And then make sure that regardless of how much leave they take or they don't take, that everybody knows under no circumstances will any intern be allowed to work past August 4th. So I'm going to repeat that. August 4th is the last day for all interns. None of them can work past that date. Okay, so what's coming next? On our end, we're going to send all the interns an orientation presentation and ask them to watch that prior to the first day. It's going to be very high level policies to keep in mind, contact information for us, what to expect. But it's also going to have, some of the things we went over that their supervisor, should be asking them for feedback. You should be providing them feedback. They should have a clear understanding of what their tasks and projects for the summer are. I mentioned the calendar events that will come your way this month. Hopefully by sometime next week, we will have that finalized and sent out to you. And then again, on their first day, you can go over those important dates for them. And then here's the last part, just to make sure that you've actually watched the training, and it's going to help me with a project that I'll put together towards the end of the summer. But go ahead and email me 2 to 3 sentences about what you hope for your intern to experience this summer, what you want them to get out of it, what you hope you get out of the internship experience. It doesn't have to be very long. I said 2 to 3 sentences, shouldn't take that long, but just think about that and try to have those emailed to me by May 15th, so by the day that they start.